So 3, 2, 1, go. I positioned the camera in the site where a wonderful prototype was devised. For various reasons, I can't show it, even because the finalized version of which it was a prototype is not ready, and moreover during one of the stages of the fabrication of manufacturing it broke, and part of it has to be rebuilt from scratch. Well, so going on with the story, it's incredible. I know it may seem all a troll, a joke, but a person with such a stunning CV as me, this is not even updated, because strategically I do not update it always, but just little, so that what is public is always a good deal backwards. Here, for example, the long table stuff wasn't even implemented, even if I did some great things with the division of tables across things. Now, the thing of this whole horrible situation I've been in along 20 years. I even presently, because of this person and in question, and because of the circumstances, I even don't have money to buy one of those glues often seen in some action video games or adventure video games, which could perfectly hide some horrible scars which I have till here. That kind of glue would seem completely in place even in summertime. Otherwise I use in winter normal things. Of course the scars go on, but for that a long sleeve shirt is fine. I used to have normal appetite from, I even ate because I can cook as a hobby, and not badly even. I hardly eat once a day. When appetite somehow pops up, I try to at least not go into vitamin lack. So orange is a must, banana is a must, vegetables of various type, and integrated pills of magnesium and potassium. And the situation is so bad. However, if you are listening to this, whether or not you are a lawyer or are going to become it, or know someone who is, or have been involved in situations where a lawyer, or more lawyers, usually at least there are two, more lawyers were operative, well, you can believe, even people with such a stunning CV, half of the age nearly as that of Elon Musk, but the CV as strong, if not stronger than his, can go, many times have gone, for example, through catastrophic divorces. It can happen, have gone through hard times. Some have died in simple car accident, or super cool exhibitionist stuntman died during a stunt. It can happen. But I'm doing this unusual video, and I think I am proving that it's not a troll, not a joke even, because these are things with which there is damn it, nothing to joke. I just wanted to tell. So this is non-serious. The rest will come later. Now I go a little bit back to the computer. So at least, even if the train should wreck, to use a metaphor that I came across by chance and I liked, before the train wrecks, if it wrecks, I can at least publish some of the material I devised, but greatest part of which is still in the drawer because especially alone is extremely difficult to bring to completion scientific projects or publication projects of a certain caliber alone. I just making this video not to joke, but to make sure if there is possibility to prepare for defense before the train wrecks, so that I can fully the rest of my miserable existence bring to end a significant contribution for a better tomorrow. End of racket. Think who I am, you know. The nerd of algorithms. Yeah, this was the glorious position where I put previously the camera, where here a great prototype was born actually. So, let's move on. Now I have to prepare for, I have to dress up decently. By the way, it's to note, very important point, that this person, then I'll have to shave my beard too, so I prepare everything. In one of his outrages, something that I had prohibited, no outrages, no yelling, no bad words, not with me. Go into a valley and scream your words, your insults, and everything, verbal abuse, insults, whatever, there, but not with me, because it hurts me. And you don't have the right to. One of his worst outrages, this person told me, however, in this place you won't ever be going to find a job. And then he was complaining that it was my fault, the extreme poverty. It's all true. I did a whole mathematical proof why it would be, this place here was worse. For privacy reasons I can state which place is, but, and the reasons. Many would not understand well how the deduction shows that was one of the worst choices of forced relocation. And so on. And, well, it's taking time to me to realize that one of the problems was that I've always been too much, far too much, what we usually call the nice guy. You know, I turn on this light here. I was too much the classical nice guy, that tall with the British accent, not nice guy, like in American English, but nice guy, real too much. Pretty recently it happened that something was done to me, something completely illegal. And as a nice guy, I understood that these poor people had deserved and received their spinal cord content, but only for mistake their brain. The same thing that also Einstein wrote about some people. And I didn't call the police. I went into a hell of a situation. I played the nice guy. And then I started to see suggestions by lawyers. And what came out, I'm a professional actor and presenter. The presenter is even more difficult because one also has to understand perfectly the subject, even worse when he is the very inventor and developer of the thing. So I'm a professional actor and presenter, and I should have immediately prepared the scene. It was ready in my brain. I should have been the first, call the police and say what happened. Like this core almost invested me, hey, what the hell? It started crying and make the whole scene. I didn't. And I was the one having being accused of nothing. Only there I pulled out twice in a row the hell of the best acting of pretending to be dumb and bringing all the accusants for half an hour around logical errors and then making them perceive that they have taken away half an hour for my life, which is worth it, while they have taken away half hour of their life, which is anyway not worth it. And ha ha ha! But I promised to myself it won't happen again. And so I started to see some lawyer stuff. Once upon a time, back in time, I also planned to be a lawyer because after all, it's very much connected with strategy and logic, which is absolutely necessary in IT. So creativity, of course, IT and logic are essential. Mathematics is different, but also there is essential in many things. And so I also had that period when I wanted to be a lawyer. In this case, I had to be a lawyer for myself. But had it got a little bit over the mark, it would have been the end. And that's something I cannot allow to happen. That's why I decided to take charge and make a step to secure myself, because there is this person who I've been addressing in this video, with whom I've been in a very abusive relationship for these last 20 years, which is the greatest part of my life practically, and also of career. And really, I can't allow any more bad things to happen, but I have to do it legally, even if, of course, I hate the police. Beautiful cars, which I would have inherited completely legally, was stolen in front of the police district. Also, another car but that was an ugly car, so I don't care about that. Never cared. And so on. Many things. I don't like law because it's full of contradictions. But I like self-defense. I like justice, when justice is justice. Law is just a shadow of justice. We all know that. All good lawyers know it. So I think it's the reason why I thought now it's time to equip myself with information on how to contact the right lawyer, a lawyer who specializes in what kind of procedures and how to do it. When the train is about to wreck, better if I can avoid other disasters, but this kind of account will remain here. I won't delete it, even if actually a lawyer procedure won't be needed, but I think there are that it will be needed. Okay, but so now I have to go. Sorry, a little bit improvised video, but yeah. I'll develop slowly the content. Of course, I link for the video also completely nicely typeset and ordered account. These are the different segments of it, as they better prepare them, and also when the setting is right, with the right lighting, the right moment, that I need to take a break from my work on the computer. There are lots of new stuff I did with it, but no video since the last disasters happened. Really, I hardly shaved. My haircut is a disaster, I know. Just trying to get done as much invention work and information work I can, and barely survive. That's also physical exercise, vitamins, whatever. Yeah, since all roses and flowers, vegetables, wow, and the balance machine from the old DDR, Deutsche Demokratische Republik, German Democratic Republic. Um, some hints at languages will be made here. Very important. Is the frame fine? The camera shot? Not really, but I can do better. When I say or write things like obscening of human dignity, that also features in my novel entitled An Ordinary Life, not yet published, but in a few days I'll publish on the internet, freely available, nearly half of it. It will be cut in a part where one would just die out of the desire to know how it continues, so it's fine. It won't prevent any contact with any publisher, but I don't want now. I don't have time nor energy to deal with publishers and so on. It's professionally typeset, you know. That's fine. Neither do I joke when I say something like the eclipse of human dignity. There is strong war climate between the United States in this moment and Ukraine. Today is the, if I remember correctly, the 12th of March, year 2022. Coffee time, by the way. And many would think, hey, but this guy is a dumbass. This guy is not tough enough. This will fail. Well, never underestimate your opponent, because you never know. Well, for example, if the war situation should worsen, just consider this. Track an imaginary line between any, some point taken out of the surface of the United States and some point taken out of the surface of Ukraine. Take the part which goes through Europe instead the other way around on the earth, and just look at what European countries happen to be in the between, close to Ukraine. Germany, Austria, Hungary, much less Italy. Other things, now let's just don't consider them. I mentioned those close to it. I mentioned these countries for a certain reason. Well, you know that when there is war, besides soldiers, armaments, military airplanes, military ships, tanks and all that stuff, or armament, war stuff. What's needed? Not just soldiers, but of course pilots. But it would take me not much to become a pilot, of course, consider my CV. Of course you think, I'm too old to be enrolled as a soldier in military because contrary to what I seem when I shave and get a decent hairdress, it's 16 years old of age, which is usually the one I present myself as and behave as and am as a matter of fact, but actually I'm twice as old, 33, which is it's over the age at which one is primarily enrolled in military if there is a war. But in war there are other things needed, interpreters, and I originally invested a lot into foreign languages for different reasons, not because I expect there would be war, even less because I would like to be in war, but this situation should in a way happen, I would be immediately called and enrolled as interpreter because I speak fluently English, that's for the United States part, fluently Hungarian as I am from Hungarian mother language, fluently Italian, but Italy's position in this matter is unknown, but keep it there. Fluently Italian and almost fluently German. So, I wouldn't be so much lost. I'm already some steps ahead of those which can't even handle a weapon and don't know foreign languages. Besonders nach einem Aufziehen neuer Seiten empfehlen wir eine Kontrolle und eventuelle Korrektur der Steckstellung. Erzielen Sie beste Resultate mit einer leichten Neigung in Richtung der Seitenhalter. Schöne Waffe, ich mag ihn. So I wouldn't be joking so much. Okay, so we have checked camera. Good evening, dear people. Now, good night. We are really in the middle of the night, since we are little after the COVID-19 pandemic story. Somehow, after a certain daytime hour, daytime time, there is nobody around. Here there is one car going by. I haven't seen any in the half hour it took to me to come so far. And well, there is nobody. There's a total silence, which may be completely unfamiliar to many, would frighten many. Unfortunately, not me. I discovered to be completely adapted and used to it. Now, we are going to talk here about a couple of things, but primarily it's still. Let me put this camera here down. Does it select it? It doesn't. No, it doesn't work. Sorry. Oh my. But mostly very likely lawyer stuff. I have to start the video by stating something more defensive, that more defensive than this couldn't be, and it's so single-minded. But I started. This video is this shot is going to be probably completely incoherent, and I try to deliver through it as much information as I can. I know it's hard to imagine that a person like me, I'll show my CV. Those few who know me know how strong it is and how strong it is getting from day to day. But this person has struggled with an extremely severe problem for these last 20 years. Unfortunately, it didn't kill me, but I'm at the point that the train is going to wreck. And if I know something by mathematical deduction, is that I have to take steps to avoid that a train can wreck and take action. See you in the next shooting place. This is probably a very, very original video. It is going to feature first video portal. Be careful with your enemy. Never underestimate it, because he can be even 10 times stronger than you in the last minute when you discover it, when the least you expect it. Over here. This is one of the most mysterious places of this thing which has been a complete prison, complete phalanster for me in this last 20 years. And so we are back here. This light is not the strongest in the world, but it works. Maybe at least I can show my not really attractive face. let's continue a little bit the better looking at the road. Continue this thing. First of all, I didn't choose this person. I've had many enemies in my existence, probably because I was too much sort of a gentleman type, which for some social mechanism, I don't know, attracts bully people. But I was resistant to bullyism, so stimulating even more the evil inner, I don't know what. And well, so yeah, I managed. I don't know how I survived, but somehow. Somehow. And slowly, at some time, I managed to eliminate all my enemies, all the people hurting me from around. There was just one element I couldn't, which was instead in the middle, a complete doubt. But sometimes, somehow, let's make a pause here. Well, by the time I was 19 years old approximately, and at the time it seemed I eliminated all evil people, all enemies from my existence. Finally, I could somehow try what it's like living normally. I should have had already a completely nicely well-groomed job, almost without having to search it, but it didn't happen because of the place I was in, the same, which turned out to be a whole prison. And really, but I'll go back to it later or won't. I have already thought about it. Well, even a closest city here is pretty small and very much closed on itself. And the closest, much larger city is not the biggest thing in the world. As a matter of fact, I told to myself, oh, well, let's just try. A moment, please. I have to sit down. A moment. Yeah, just to adjust this thing. I told me, yeah, let's try out university. It must be interesting in the closest, really large city. Interesting at everything. Okay, well, then I thought I let it go because it's not all that big deal. But I got to know some cool people, really. There were the potential for real good, true friendships. But suddenly, what happened? Well, so I went back home. Okay, let's look for a job. With my CV, which already was very strong, but I didn't think that I would have become such a big kick of a scientist as I am, beyond other things. Well, I thought it would be made. I couldn't find. In between the economical crisis, which on a lie basis was set to have exploded in 2007, had become a disaster. And what others thought as virtual because they had inherited their job or found it through friends or had it already and didn't get kicked off, I couldn't find, notwithstanding great interviews and so on. Some were not good, but others went, but there was very few stuff. And suddenly, a syndrome I had started to have years before, just when, a little before I was that age, 19, when at least I thought I could start a normal life and existence. Damn it. A syndrome which later was discovered to be a rare kind of so-called fibromyalgia, very rare in men, started to come out and become worse and worse. I raised physical exercise because I noticed it reduces pain, because it's mostly pain. and also partial paralysis, wrong sensations, paresthesia, everything. I started to swallow like aspirin as if they were candies. I thought, even if I die, I'm not interested in. Someone will analyze the corpse, will find we'll invent something, we'll question. But such a highly schooled, such a person, a guru of culture, how could not have known that aspirin are not candies? It can have side effects. There are limits of dosage per day, and so on. Hell, I thought I was losing really motivation. Then I started to have conflicts with this person, who was always in the orbit, and the illness got worse and worse. I started to see the hell on earth and started strategically to cut down all my contacts. Why? In order to avoid them avoid that they see the hell on earth. Along 2 years I didn't talk to people at all, and so much. Somehow things went on, always problem. Miraculously, with a delay of 10 years, cure was attempted. Medicine, which was invented in 1988, but was legalized miserably just in 2008, just when the problem started. And I started to ignore it because, man, you are a man. If you complain about the initially slight bad feeling, pain, you're thinking, oh, but men are supposed not to complain, usual stuff. And so things went on. And I could endure a little bit. The medicine, things got better. I think, okay, just search job more and more, found nothing. And the conflicts with this person rose, and suddenly, again, enemies, but worse than before, started to appear against me, around me. Then there was this accusation by a person who I've known but suspected for more than 10 years, who once told me, listen, but saying certain things, you also frame yourself, you put yourself in a bad frame in front of other people. And it was only for my courtesy not to have told him, hey, pal, most things are automatized, so most people don't count, but I count, because I'm special kind and very gentle, because I'm a gentleman, not any criminal. Many people, so I discovered, were hidden, repressed criminals, repressed bullies, and this person in the between, so one day good, one day bad. And I discovered this person put in the between everybody against me with privacy violation, gossip, and everything, and I was into hell. Yeah, I was into hell. Fantastic. And now I am here. Catastrophe. Notwithstanding the great discoveries I did in the I don't know why I have this incredibly creative driving force. Maybe it's a donation. I'm not religious, but that's something religious people would attribute to. You have received something, you have to pay for it. The hell pay 10 times for it. Usury tax. But a thing is going to wreck now. Because of this person, I understood that it's not a conspiracy theory, not paranoia. There is one person who I have to kick off and chill down, because this person is very dangerous for me, and I'm still jobless, extreme poverty. I died almost recently again, as many times along my life, 3-4 times. Not because of, always because of others' mistakes. Not that life is so fantastic, or has been, but could be and should be. And I'm here. But the train has passengers. The airplane has passengers. As a pilot, I think I have the responsibility to take it to destination with everybody integer, safe, and happy, or at least ready to be happy. And so I'm doing. We are recording, but we'll go on. So the battery is going, but most of it's done. I'll need a lawyer. So very probably it will end up in court. I will have to proceed in court. I prepare it for it. I prefer avoiding it, but I post here publicly. I have a severe problem with a person, and I can't do anything because in between the economical crisis did it, and it as well. It was as if this person knew that besides being completely unprepared for the crisis, also others were, but these others had a good time and were easy to manipulate, and it's so all against me. Terrible humiliations, verbal abuse, or moral abuse, everything you can imagine. And I'm still here, but I decided, I promised to myself, I won't let the train with other passengers, including myself, passengers, genial inventions still in the drawer, because I can do everything alone. I need cooperators. I need to found a research group. And I promised to myself, I won't let the train wreck, the plane wreck. And I try everything, even if I I may fail to maintain the promise. For this, end of record. This was Simon alias the Nerd of Algorithms, year 2022, the 14th of March. End of record. I'm starting to snow here. So let's see the focus point. Okay, so let's see the focus point. This should be the last footage of this emergency report, or better, emergency rescue request in video form. And that's fine. If I'm not wrong, now it's the 23rd of March, year 2022, one day more, one day less. And so let's get back and start with a little introduction, then some points which will review the topics which will be expanded a little bit in detail before closing. Before the train wrecks, before the airplane crashes with passengers, which I have the duty to bring home safe, uninjured, happy, or at least ready to be happy. And before you see these power lines, this light is not sufficient, but those here, that one and that one are power lines. Some power lines are running here above our heads. Yeah, it can be seen pretty well. That the sun is rising. Look. And so before these power lines stop bringing power, life power, let's continue with our previous video. In order that I don't have to do later on in this footage other camera moves. Yeah, one of the things, since also this person also with an able move almost literally stole my credit card, but that's still, well, some of that justifiable, besides stealing my bike. But that's another thing also that's justifiable, but not so much in light of what I am going to say. Well, let's show that in order that at least my personal documents can be stolen, I bring them always with myself, and I show proof of it of the strongest document. Excuse me, there's a sort of attempt to self-light. And this one is always protected with a nylon envelope in order to protect it from raining, sweating, and so on. So this is the strongest document in the world, ID document, of course, not in general. And apart from CV and apart from the DNA, here it is. There's a passport, with biometric chip in it. As I am Simon, alias the nerd of algorithms. Here it's not written the nerd of algorithms, but algorithm stuff is here. And other things, only of which only comparatively smart portion. Let's say 1/3 to be optimist, 1/4 to be less optimist. I had time and energy and possibility being alone to outdevelop and document and at least write for it some software prototype. Let me turn on the slide. And so on. These are the measures. So the thing is so bad. Before starting, let me tell something. I was moment please. No. The sun is rising now. Do you see the power lines? This is the moon. And yeah, instead of concentrating on how the JWST space telescope is going, because it can be tracked what it's doing, what's going on. It's in its phase of calibration on the website, on NASA's website or whatever, also ESA's website. There is one website dedicated to it, a whole one. Instead of looking at that, concentrating on it, by the way, I have my amulet here dedicated to it in order to say also some fun things in this video. The damnation, where is my torchlight? Here. Look, this little stuff here is a sort of amulet I made for myself. For those who know what an amulet is, a sort of luck-bringing object which one brings with oneself. In the, of course, no scientific belief that it can bring luck. It's a sort of flat model in paper paper and some covering of the primary mirror of the James Webb Space Telescope, and it's also here on it. JWST, you can read it, it can be seen. I bring it with myself together with the documents. And now let me continue. It's not me put away the light. So, and he's sort of looking the updates and so on, doing cool things. I'm here to record this. As I said before, it's a emergency rescue request for the fact of needing a lawyer to take a certain person in court who has harmed me very badly in these last 20 years. Well, I'm doing here. I have to do this duty because I promised to myself that I'll make justice for myself. It may seem cruel, but I have to do it. What has been done to me is more cruel. And by the way, if the person about whom I'm talking, this person is watching this video or just listening to the audio sequence of it. Haven't I forgotten anything? No. Perfect. Well, you should know that even if you take a step of pacific solution, back my bike, some damage reward money, a couple of hundreds of euros, even starting from 100 would suffice before we get to court, because we will pretty soon, except if some miracle happens, but these videos will remain ever there as a historical document. Well, you know that this will be solved in court, not in private, because I don't trust. I can't allow human error to get in the between. Even courts can make mistakes, but there is my rugged steel logic. And the fact that some things maybe are explainable as proving themselves to be legal, but they are so disgusting as to human base ethics that they are bad. They can't be tolerated. It's something like what has happened in the Second World War with the Nazi concentration camps, and also other things, gulags elsewhere in the world. Certain things, no one was sentenced, no one was judged, sentenced, but these are horrible things which one shouldn't do. And here, come back to that things which shocked me. There's a sort of meditation stone. Can it be seen, actually? Oh, does this damn it camera work? Ah, it works, but it can't be seen. Maybe. Wait a minute. If the battery is on my side, I can show it. Take this meditation. This is a sort of meditation stone. More than once I sat here down to meditate on this health situation I've been in for the last 20 years. Unfortunately, it can't be seen well. I've been post-editing. I will try to visualize it. I'll try. Yeah. Here is the sky. Here is the road. And here is this stone, this sort of thing. When one sits down on it, so this is the view. This is a barrier. Excuse me. There is a lighting. Tuck, 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 tuck. Can you see? Refringent, cat-eye effect, cartel. Here is the road, where it's pretty much dimmed. Here's the moon. Yeah. So let's get. I walk a little bit by. I reckon. Well, I was pretty much surprised, but not even surprised, but it encouraged me a lot. I didn't hope to ever hear such a witness meant what's the correct, let alone before going to court. I even have to deep into court language and court jargon and so on, lawyer jargon. So don't worry, let me improvise a little bit here. When I heard some a witness of what happened. This man had been married with a woman for 15 years. Okay, not 20, as not such a long period of time as my tragic story goes, which is 20, but the same order of magnitude. 15 is not so much less than 20. And he said, like, not one quarrel, or with other language, other word, not one argument. But again, here, I'm not familiar with married couple conflict jargon, as I'm not yet familiar with a lawyer and court jargon, but into lawyer and court jargon I'll dip into as soon as this disgusting but necessary thing will start and as quick as possible end. This person said, not one quarrel, not one argument, 3 children, healthy and everything, but these women exerted a level of control, manipulation and everything on this poor man and all his friends, all her friends, all the neighbors, everything. This man lived those 15 years in the true hell on earth, in the literal meaning of the words. And at the end, he managed miraculously almost to divorce from her. And since then, of course, he became poor. Well, okay. And he became poor thanks to the law system about the divorce in many countries. And since then, he has never seen ever again his children. And, well, I wasn't so much surprised, but a little bit, yes. And what I'm doing now is all, knowing this has helped me. I know there are lots of things like this, but then very few men are inspired or I don't know, or driven. That's the correct word. Driven. Very few men are driven to somehow, at some point, output the truth, even in a completely anonymous way, or write it down. What I went through also is just, even if it would be very useful for many other people to read, hey, be careful. If she seems a nice girl, and when you met her, it doesn't mean that she can turn into a female devil at the right point, in the right moment. It's except if you have the most advanced radar system in the world. Well, I have one of the most advanced, but as a matter of fact, I didn't end up in some catastrophic divorce. I write about it extensively in my History on Human Error. But this other hell happened to me, from which here the only way out is, well, or suicide. So permanent solution to an otherwise real-time solvable, or something solvable in reasonable time, or getting this person to court and do some very, very diplomatic agreement, like a 50-50 thing, very and some rules. Back my credit card, my bicycle, and some damage repair money. And decent maintenance obligation, and well, some other external thing like complete the free travel Europe-wise, right to have it with some special diplomatic passport, lifelong valid, free right to contract to sign a contract with any insurance company I choose, where I would choose the most loyal one, and if all of them are disloyal, right to choose the least disloyal one, and pay the maximum base balance for it. It's which is often called a premium value, as far as I remember. And other things. Some completely tax and cost-free bank account in whatever bank service furniture I choose, where I would choose, of course, the most loyal one, or if all are disloyal, with the right to choose the least disloyal one. Ha ha ha! The least disloyal one. Sounds good. Let's get back to the thing. Now, first thing, I talk about the bicycle story. I know before it, this person tried to. I'll speak about now the points. The attempt of this person to persuade me, almost menace me, force me, almost like with I don't know what kind of hypnotization, which people who are highly manipulative are very good at doing. To force me, almost convince me, like what the hell happens if you don't do it? Take some extremely dangerous brain drugs. Brain drugs. But hell, I won't play Russian roulette with such a brain. With all the things I have done, and all those which are in the drawer, many of which there isn't even note, because I didn't have energy, time to sit down and take some decent notes. Some notes are, I was so much in a hurry to get the little things I could do along for the future discoveries and advances. I had to record them on dictaphone. Yes, them in dictaphone. Some are using hidden cameras, for example, protect themselves. Some false accusations from their wives of aggression, home violence, because their wives, to many men have happened, they were married, the wife started to beat up the man defended himself, and and the wife filed the false accusation, and the man ended up in jail, or ended up in court but losing all his money, and ended up under a bridge, or a already not working car, or in a tent in the middle of Russian bears in the freezing cold. I don't know, but the things have happened. Some killed themselves after. So I'm pretty much in the realm. My story is not much different, even if it's not about divorce, but I think I know something about generalization and catalogization. Algorithms is not all that rigid a subject, as well as mathematics isn't. It's taught us such. That's why its teaching doesn't work really. But okay, there is a lot to do on how we teach mathematics, physics, algorithms, communication, foreign languages, life strategy in general. While choosing a decent partner of the other gender, otherwise referred to as a romantic partner, there's a lot of work to do yet. But as also Richard Feynman said, humanity is yet at the beginning of its history, so some mistakes are excusable. But I'd add, not those giant mistakes, which are obvious and can be avoided easily. So the sun is rising. Sun is rising. Our hopes. I hope my hopes are rising too. By the way, let's sit down here a little bit. That thing about the brain drugs, with almost no motivation. What that hurt me very, very much. Like, don't play. Will never play Russian roulette with my brain. Already, the manipulation this person has done to me in the last 20 years is something that has, and all the things I went through because of this, all the humiliations, the manipulation, the verbal abuse, which is different from insult. It's not. I don't know if it's already in the official dictionary, but yeah, insult is something that comes from rage. It's instinctive. It's not intentional. It's like accidental. But verbal abuse is premeditated, pre-exercised, and done systematically. And relies on language manipulation. This person used it a lot at master level, but some level of mastery which really, I don't know, could outperform my writing capability as a professional writer. Something disgusting. I also pointed out directly and clearly in my essay about human error that this essay heavily elaborates on the topic of language between humans, civilization, and computers as language tools, and also tools which are operated through more or less formal languages, most formal being programming languages, less formal. Some programs that try to guess to get out some instruction subset from natural language. Natural language is like English, German, Hungarian, whatever. There's lots of languages used on the face of the earth. And there are languages that are dead languages like Latin, Ancient Greek, Sanskrit. I don't know. I'm not a historian. And back to that. So even there's such a disgusting thing as brain drugs. I know that in the United States and here and there, and there's some of those crazy parents, like they see helicopters, military helicopters, always around checking what their children are doing, or like even worse. Now it could be done with drones following their children, maybe letting them go outside a little bit, 3 meters, but following them all with those electric little remote control airplanes called drones, which have a high definition camera. With some little hack, the remote control console, which is a computer, it's one of those smartphones. Also, this is similar. It could be the program which does, like autopilot, follow the damaged child in automation. Where the right thing this poor child could do, if from somewhere to high, from the heavens, came the knowledge and the inspiration, would learn how to use a compound bow and shoot down the drone, and then find the corpse of the drone, and do a selfie photo with it, with the middle finger raised, and write on it, "Never try that again. I want my privacy back." And this happened to me too, always. I had 33 years old, completely in phase of maturation, intellectual, very successful intellectual, actually in phase of maturation, not completely maturated, and now on the way of decay. No, contrary, it's still getting higher and higher, hoping that it won't be interrupted. It's going higher and higher. So end of the part on brain drugs. Never want to hear about it. No one has the right to play Russian roulette with my brain. No one. So, let's end the part on brain drugs, dangerous brain drugs. Then, stealing my bicycle with a able move. I was suspicious. Just the chain, the transmission chain was broken. I couldn't fix it by myself because I couldn't close the chain because my chain manipulator was broken. But he told me, this person told me, well, so end of the part on brain drugs, dangerous brain drugs, because all of them are dangerous, much more than people believe. Let me get in a quiet place to continue. Let's go on, the bicycle stuff. Okay, the bicycle stuff. Only the chain was broken, but it wasn't even broken. It would have been sufficient to close it. But my chain manipulator was broken. Otherwise, I could have do the job by myself. I had done it previously with good success. A little bit for patience, but did it. And this person told me, but I bring the bike to fix. Don't worry. I haven't seen the bike since then. Months have passed. And this person knew, because I told it, that I have, for privacy, I can tell where, but at one of the points of my left part of the body, which is needed for walking and running, is disabled because of some inflammatory problems. Partly because of the fibromyalgia syndrome stuff, my inflammation levels are always higher than normal. This can cause chronic inflammation, and also the excess of physical exercises needs some palliative treatment, symptom level treatment of the syndrome needs beside chemical treatment, which, by the way, has lost its efficiency greatly. And that's something I knew that was a risk if circumstances wouldn't have changed. I also told to this person that, hey, you should reduce stress levels exerted on me, on your side, do everything, eliminate stress, because all of stress will worsen it, and then there's no evidence that anyone has ever healed, and that a medicine is the only one for this, as far as I know. Others are more dangerous and likely also less effective, can lose its efficiency, or in some people can lose it and I may happen to be that one of those people. And hell, is it done? I lost all my friends because of this syndrome, and all who were so and so friends. Instead, I disconnected. The last three, of which at least one really could have become a sort of best friend, but in the honest and heartfelt wish of avoiding them to see the hell on earth, and to just avoid that I be weighing on their shoulders with the syndrome I can do about it. And with this person, which I am wishing to, and I need to get to court or find some alternative, but this video is for that. Besides being a very important historical document, as is that of that man, and there are other accounts. But where is going? And this person who knew about this inflammation problem, which has also caused a partial deformation of that certain part of the body, I cannot mention where it's for privacy reasons. Well, I'm damn it disabled, and I can walk around or as other people. I have to force it to some degree. The bike could have been solved everything, and did it for a couple of months, at least freeze the problem. He stole it, and that makes it a crime. Very well justifiable, but since this person knew I was disabled there and needed the bike, as people who are more disabled need a damn it rolling chair, it's their right. I need the bike. At least sell it if you think it's too good. Buy a used wreck, but as soon as it works. I used to use a wreck bicycle, a ruin before, but whatever. I don't know. So we are here. Let me pause the video, just out of curiosity. So I make checksum mentally or with paper. If I told everything. By the way, very important. This video document, this report, this emergency report, emergency rescue requests, was done by simply attaching one after the other the footages, of course cutting out some where I accidentally mentioned brand names or things where I had to manipulate the camera, or I was saying these things, and so this is I hope is the last footage. Let me pause it, by the way. Better. Let's end it here and maybe make a last cut. Last thing. In all what I explained here, I told in this report, this thing. This was the torch. It fell off. Sorry. This. I provided only the minimum information to make a serious accusations, describe my hell I went through, whose memories will haunt me forever, for the rest of my life, of course. Like it or not. I avoided all things that where other people would be mentioned, or other where I live could witness, because they probably would launch themselves into lying as bad as hell. Because also these people harmed me, did to me very bad things, and just would be there as soon as in court as witnesses. They would do the hell to hurt me again, and that's something I cannot allow to happen. Because there are people who are morally superior and people who are morally inferior. I'm among the most superior. Well, let's see if end the video this thing here. This was Simon alias the Nerd of Algorithms. If something comes to mind, I just add a last footage, but I don't think there's much left. It was all shot in this very random sceneries and times and so on, but not so random. I'm a professional film man, actor, presenter. Look at this. It almost seems that sometimes the right location comes out by complete chance. Is this the future which you wished for your children? Is the thing I'd like to ask to. So I told that there might be lost footage, lost shot, and in conclusion to this video, or better, emergency help requests. Help requests where I am searching the end, the light at the end of the tunnel. Problem, what you're seeing is a sort of tunnel which is all lighted, but the problem is that the tunnel seems to never end. And still, well, this is not a video game. However, video games are an important piece of technology. Does it work at all? Yes, it does. So, in conclusion, nearly at the beginning of this film, this documentary and whatever, emergency help requests material, video, audio material, I thought that it would at the end be very likely extremely disorganized, in which, however, I would have tried to deliver as much information as I could relevant to this horrible situation I've been in the last 20 years, and the fact that in order to avoid total train wreck, total plane crash of everything, and so impede my further potential contributions, indeed great contributions to culture worldwide, I would have had the absolute need to prepare for getting out of my way a certain person who has been responsible, or has been, I don't like saying responsible because it's almost a nonsense word. Everywhere it's used, but always in a very different way. So it's almost meaningless. I prefer saying has been like an absolutely major, has been an absolutely major cause contributor to the disaster. Now we are at the point. This video, notwithstanding my initial statement and poor, not too much encouraging promises about it, came out really much well organized and also interesting. There are some interesting, unexpected moments in it. And well, this is not by chance. This is a result of competence, that I'm competent. And it doesn't come, if not in minimal measure, out of experience. More out of need, in this case. Now, I'd like to say, I haven't said it already, but in this quite demoralizing and apocalyptic setting, repeat that I'm like I ran all the cross-checking routines to determine the reliability of my conclusion, but in this disaster, this person has contributed to like 95%. The others, let's say, we can attribute to accident. Well, has been done in the last 20 years, at the end of which I came to the conclusion, hey, or this whole thing is wrecked, and I bring with myself in the other world lots of general inventions. Like, yeah, I have already talked about it. Well, it was all calculated, all done, all planned with engineering precision. And as a final and all sufficient proof for it, I'd say that the worst level of hell, and in this case almost uniquely caused by this person, has come and has started at the moment where I was achieving something very important for the global culture and so the ongoing of the whole civilization, which is such a noble thing as concluding an absolutely epoch-making novel, which will probably set standards, at least in the matter of level, for the next 100 years or even much beyond. And something like a book, a long essay on the hard question of human error, I warm-heartedly suggest to read that, as well as the novel, very, very carefully. Other thing, in view of what I've told about probably this person having designed everything with engineering precision, just how to bring me in hell, and at the end, well, what else? Leaving me no other choice but suicide. That is permanent solution for something which could be avoided. Permanent train wreck, airplane crash, which could be avoided. Well, I almost forgot what I was going to say. I'm getting a little bit tired. Yeah, almost this proves. And what it is, yeah. What competence? This person probably has already taken steps, like getting in contact with a whole army of lawyers and other people, as this person had done, manipulated a whole army of people who could do everything in this person's place, so to leave just very little dirty work for this person to do in person, to destroy me. And well, I say something. Lem Stanislav, the author of his master's voice, Solaris, The Invincible, Aiden, The Return, and some other novels, one of my favorite authors, my favorite novel by him is his master's voice. It's very philosophical too, very much in it about human error and general wisdom too. Well, I say something. At some point, he states in one of his novels that one of the weak points of the human race, despite its intelligence and all the other stuff, we know that all that thing like IQ, all the thing is for me total intellectual rubbish. As I explained in my essay about human error, my theory is that intelligence, creativity, self-consciousness, having developed and being in a complex society, empathy, and all these things, sort of as if they had formed living crystal, which is interesting. Well, at some point, above a certain level of all these features, this crystal, when this crystal surpasses a certain level of perfection, like in my case, ethics, decent human ethics starts to work, and it's extremely strong. And so I say, any army, I say to this person and to all the others listening to me in this moment, or much later, or treating this as a historical, very important indeed, historical document, I say, you will lose. Because because my logic and all this other stuff together is such a rugged steel slug that I am a one-man army able to defeat any other non-devoted, non-authentically devoted army aimed at destroying me and with this. And I just say, with all this trouble made in this 20 years, the damage made to global culture, having slowed down my contribution to it, has been expanding since then. Remember the light kernels stuff by Albert Einstein? Cause and effect. So damage is terrible, it's global, and it's expanding. As well as the effects of this account I made so far will take and expand its effect since it's opened by the first viewer, since it's online and can't be taken down, since it's made at all. So on the record. There's one thing. There is this Commons law again. Loves best the one who loves lust. And I can grant you, I'll be the one to love lust. End of record.